Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, everyone. In this good occasion, I will present this about my research. This is about a local election in the middle of pandemic COVID-19, especially in human behavior to face the regulation. About the healthy protocol and the case study in this research in Pakorsari village. Okay, next. Today, democracy has confronted a new problem. This is COVID-19. Among the essential of democracy is difference. Since the early stage of its outbreak, Spinelli is a researcher from International ID Organization said the COVID-19 pandemic has placed unprecedented pressures on countries and states as to whether to hold or postpone scheduled election, resulting in the confrontation in either case. In this research, I use a qualitative case study design as course in this research. Why? A qualitative case study design is caused to explain the detail of the participant. Qualitative research enables us to make sense of the reality. To describe and explain the social world and develop explanatory models and theory. In the research, researchers I use interview methods and file case studies. Case studies are research design that are found manifold, especially evaluation when the research development and in-depth analysis of the case, of the program, event, activity, process, or one or more individuals. What discussed in this research? Yes, this research discussed about the human behavior to face the rule healthy protocol COVID-19. Human behavior. What the human behavior to face the rules of healthy protocol. This is a problem. Yes, this is the research problem in this research. They said underlying this research is theory from the Miriam Budiarjo. She said in her book, the state is the agent of social control. But in other section, Buana says many people do not respond. For example, the government has dismissed students from studying or attending school or enforcing for work at home, but this condition is even used by many people for vacation. This is a bad thing. This is a bad behavior. From this case, I start my research about what the human behavior what the human behavior to face the rules of the protocol actually in the Pakorsari village in local election 2020. Next, what the essence of the election? The essence of the election in the democratic countries is the manifestation of people's sovereignty, which is manifested in the delivery of the constitutional rights, right to vote of citizens in an honest and fair election to elect the leader who will form a government to manage and serve the entire society. What's the problem an election today? The pandemic has an impact in all of the elements in human life, especially in the election routine agenda. Spinelli said again, the COVID pandemic, however, had a significant impact on key issues that were at stake in the political agenda for the 2020 election. A survey of international ideas said in March 2020, Italy, Spain, and the French restricted citizens' movement as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic. And in the other parts of this research, explain about the local election in the France are held but with much lower turnout than predicted or in previous election. Okay, in this research finding, first is about Yogi Kurniawan said it's better if the regional election is postponed because we know we are in the middle of pandemic, and more I don't know about the new rules. He does not about new rules to help to face the local election in the middle of pandemic. Okay. And second, Ahmad Sharoni said it's better to hold online local election. And schools are closed, mosques are closed, but why the local election are still running? And he did not about the new rules from the local election in the middle of pandemic. And the third and the last is Muhammad Yahya. He said in the interview, I don't know about anything rules. New about a local election because I was new. This is a first time to vote because I was new in the local election in the middle of pandemic. And he said it's better if in the future to do more socialization at school, not only in the village official, yes, or village official, I mean about the government official, yes, from a Kades or other official, other office in the village, and massive in social media. But in other session, it's about Ali Maswad. He is a member of PPK, or Indonesian is a panitia pemilihan kecamatan, said about socialization and rules to hold a local election in the midst of pandemic. He said, socialization of KPU, PPK, PPS, KPPS, so if there have something has not been conveyed or does not understand it, it is the responsibility of the executor under it. This is about the pyramidal certification. The regarding people who do not understand it or not, it's an individual problem. It is about individual problem, he said, we can forge it. Okay, good. Conclusion. The more important from a rule and health election is a human behavioral. Budiarto said around the behavioral approach, she states that the behavioral approach now additionally deeply in the case of surfacing community behavior patterns. Instead of using a political approach, and the other research said about the human behavior, especially in Indonesia, many people in Indonesia underestimate the pandemic. This behavior has dangerous impact. This behavior has dangerous impact in the health condition from life, human life or democracy life, for the continuing democracy in the next year, the next time. Yes, this is due to disagreement or lack of socialization. It was like a chairman of Pamwasu said the less socialization in the district and village because not all KPPS members follow the technical guidance. The suggestion from the research is from the above problem. The research suggests in the future to make better steps in the facing all kinds of disasters, especially in the election. There are some suggestions such as the following. First, massive socialization to our people, I mean especially for rural communities, first-time voters and elderly. The second, take anticipatory steps, general election with online system. Yes. The third, provide technical guidance to all officials at all levels. The last, create a code of ethic for the voter behavior patterns, like in Korea, South Korea. This is good. Okay, that is my presentation. Billahi taufiq wal hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.